Hello students, I am Rahul Pandey and today I will continue the second part of the chapter The Triumph of Surgery. Okay, so I try to sound severe. Now I really mean this. If you do not cut his foot right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. So the doctor Harriet advised Mrs. Pumphrey that you will have to give the diet to your dog in a limit, okay, quantity, otherwise it will be very difficult for your dog. Mrs. Pumphrey wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet. I am sure you are right, but it is so difficult, so very difficult. She set off, head down along the road, as if determined to put the new rhyme into practice immediately. So, after that, Mrs. Pumphrey said that you are right, means I am trying my best and I will try to minimize the diet of my dog. I watched their progress, their growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats dropping in his harness. I thought it would not be long before I heard from Mrs. Pumphrey, and the doctor said that I noticed that the condition of the tricky was not good, although he has every types of facilities in under Mrs. Pumphrey. Okay, he had much clothes according to the weather for winter season, for rain season, for summer season. Okay, the expected call come within a few days. Doctor said that Mrs. Pumphrey called me. Okay, Miss, within a day, as I had expected. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on a rug. And she called and told that, please, doctor, come immediately. My dog is not eating, okay? And he had bouts of vomiting at night. That is why I went there. When I went there, I saw that the tricky was panting, okay, and his condition was not good. He was not able to walk also. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. I told Mrs. Pumphrey that, okay, I am watching the condition of your dog and I think that means you will have to hospitalize your dog under my observation. The poor lady almost swooned. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. Whenever I told this to Mrs. Pumphrey, she became shocked because she was not able to live without his dog. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and followed by Mrs. Pumphrey wailings, I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. And I said that, no, I am Miss I am very anxious about his health. If you will not hospitalized, so his life may be in danger. Although I know it very well that you love him very much, but the doctor Harriet said that I will have to be hard. That is why I took the dog with me and I came near my car. Okay, and I wrapped the dog in a blanket. The entire staff was aroused, and maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys, and rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper bowl. Whenever I went near my car, I noticed that means in the meantime the maid, okay, the servant of the house rushed behind me, okay, bringing his day bed, means day bed, night bed, and favorite cushions, and lots of toys, okay, means rubber rings. And she also gave me his breakfast bowl separately, lunch bowl separately, supper bowl separately. Realizing that my car could never hold all this stuff, I started to drive away. Whenever I noticed that, means all the things will kept inside my car. So I thought that it is not possible that all the things I will have inside my car. So thinking this, okay, I drove my car from there. Okay, And as I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of the little coats through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in a tears. When I drove my car, I noticed that Mrs. Pumphrey was running behind the car and she was weeping, and every maid and servant had tears in their eyes. Out on the road, I glanced down it at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. On the road, I noticed that my dog Tricky was gasping, okay, and he was lying beside my seat, okay. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said, you have not a kick in your butt. I think I know a cure for you. And the doctor said that means whenever I saw he was gasping, but I said him that don't worry, you will be okay. Okay. At the surgery, the household dogs surged round me. Ricky looked down at the noisy pack with the dull eyes and when put down lay motionless on the carpet. The other dogs, after sniffing round him for a few seconds, decided he was uninteresting object and ignored him. Whenever I went, okay, in my surgery house, I had okay dog many dogs okay with my at my house, so all the dogs came behind me seeing the tricky, then they thought that it is my new friend, but I kept the tricky, okay, and no, his the eyes was very dull, and when put down lay motionless on the carpet, the other dog came, okay, and they sniffed around him few seconds and decided that he was an uninteresting object and ignored him. My all pet dogs ignored Tricky, thinking that he is not a good dog and he cannot be our friend. That's why they went from there. I made up a bed for him in a warm, loose box next to the one where the other dogs slept. The doctor Harriet said that, who is the narrator, that I made a bed for my Tricky. Okay, beside the others, dog slept where they slept. For 2 days, I kept an eye on him, giving him no food and plenty of water. Doctor said that 2 days I did not give food to Ricky, and I gave only water to drink. At the end of the second day, he started to show some interest in his surroundings, and on the third, he began to whimper when he heard the dog in the yard. And doctor said that I was very shocked whenever I noticed that means for 2 days, okay, he did not buzz, but on the third days, okay, some activity happened in his body, and the doctor said that he began to whimper, and he had means heard the dogs in the yard, and he began to take interest in listening the sound made by my other pet dogs. When I opened the door, Tricky trotted out and was immediately engulfed by Zoe, the greyhound, okay, and his friends. After rolling him over and thoroughly inspecting him, the dogs moved off down the garden. Tricky followed them, rolling slightly with the surplus fat. The doctor said that whenever I opened the door, I found that okay, Tricky went outside of the surgery room okay immediately, and he was totally engulfed by Zoe. Zoe was a greyhound, okay, my pet dog, and his friends. After rolling him over and thoroughly inspecting him, the dogs moved off down the garden. Tricky followed them, rolling slightly with his surplus fat. And when my all the pet dogs observed that means now Tricky is good, his health is good, then they thought that okay, I will have to go outside okay of the surgery house in the garden, and Tricky will also play with us. And whenever all the dogs ran from there, Tricky followed them immediately. Okay, and after that, what happened? I noticed that means there was a means surplus fat. The condition of fat inside the Tricky's body had decreased. That is why he was able to run very fast. And the doctor was very happy because means his trick, his trick of giving means 2 days he did not give him food. He gave only water, And the doctor knew very well that whenever the fat will reduce from the body of the tricky at that particular time, he will definitely start to run and he will have some energy in his body. That's why means seeing the tricky was running behind their pet dogs, the doctor was very happy. So dear students, it is the end of second part, okay, of this chapter, the triumph of surgery. And tomorrow I will continue the next paragraph in video third, okay. So till then, keep learning and keep practicing.
Thank you.